Hello. I was just noticing that this measuring cup isn't made for left-handed people, because the measuring lines are on that side when you, yeah, it's inconvenient. Morning. Just getting started here. I just put my honey in the water, turning my heat up. Flames. morning. I just dropped my first batch. It's in the water. I need to get a few things from the back. There we go. Got my clean linen, scraper, empty containers for water. This paddle gets covered in ash from the burnt seeds. So I gotta clean it once in a probably every second day. Probably time for a new one pretty soon. The edge gets worn out on, you can see it's quite this is the edge that I use the most. It's quite worn out. Morning. I'm baking bagels. I have my first batch in the pot right now. Just giving my boards a wipe here. Oh, sorry, I missed your comment. I wasn't paying attention. I'm about to take my first batch out of the oven, or out of the pot, sorry. A little tired today. I was supposed to have today off, but we're short bakers, so I ended up working. But I get 3 days off starting tomorrow. Morning. This isn't going to be a very lively stream. I'm lacking energy today. I don't know if my streams are ever lively though. Oh, sorry. Yeah, these ovens are designed for baking pizza. I've had pizza made in these. Yeah, they're good for pizza. Yeah, I guess. Fit a lot of things in this oven. It's a very large oven, so. I need to go to the back for a minute. I'll be right back. So this is my second batch. It's almost ready. I just moved my first batch to the center of the oven. Just keep my boards wet and cool. Everything mixed. Go. Hamlin Towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The river Weser deep and wide washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you've never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests in the men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats, by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking the 50 different sharps and flats. At last the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. 'Tis clear, cried they, our mayor is naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking, to think we buy gowns lined with vermin, for dolts who can't and won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you are old and over the feast, finding the 36 roast peas. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking, to find the remedy we are lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing. At this the mayor and corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. For a guilder eyed my ermine gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap. Just as he said this, what should hap? At the chamber door, but a gentle tap. Bless us, cried the mayor, what's that? With the corporation as he sat, looking little through wondrous fat. Nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister than a too long opened oyster, save when at noon his paunch grew mutinous, for a plate of turtle green and glutinous. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. Come in, cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek nor beard on chin. But lips where a smile went out and in, there was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, it's as my great-grandsire, starting up at the trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone. He advanced towards the council table. "Please, your honor," said he, "I am able, by means of secret charm to draw all the creatures living beneath the sun, that crawl or swim or fly or run after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that your people harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper, and people call me the Pied Piper." And here they noticed round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe to match with his coat of self-same check, and that scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old-fangled. "Yes," said he, "Pied Piper as I am, in Tartary I fed the cam, last June from his huge swarms of gnats. I eased in Asia the Nizam of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders?" 150,000 was the exclamation of an astonished mayor and corporation. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept, blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and a muttering grew to a grumbling, and a grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, grey rats, tawny rats, grave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to Rat Landholm's commentary, which was, at first shrill notes up the pipe, I heard a sound as of striking tripe, and putting apples wondrous ripe into the cider presses gripe, and moving away at pickle tub boards, and leaving a jar of conserve cupboards, and drawing the corks of train oil flasks, and breaking the hoops of butter casks, and it seemed as if a voice, sweeter far than by harp and by Solary's reed, called out, "O rats, rejoice! The world has grown to a vast dry saltery, so munch on, crunch on, take your nunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just a bulky sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone, gracious scarce an inch before me, just as me thought it said come bore me, I found the West rolling over me. You should have heard the Hamden people ring the bells till they rock the steeple. Go, cried the mayor, get long poles, poke out the nests and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats. One suddenly up the face of the piper perked in the marketplace. The first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders! The mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too, for council dinners made rare havoc, with claret, Moselle, Vin de Gras, Hawk, and half the money would replenish their cellar's biggest boat of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, with gypsy coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. It's a fucking poem, dude. You've never heard a poem in your entire life? A poem? You've never heard a poem? You've never heard somebody recite a poem before? Yeah, it's a pretty long poem, dude. Yeah, long poems have been written in history. You want all the poems to be really short. You want lots of short poems, hey? You know, like 2-line, 2-word poems, like go read a book or something. It is Victorian English. Hamlin towns in Brunswick by famous Hanover city. I know, that's pretty clear to me. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies in the cradles and ate the cheeses from the vats and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles. Those are all like pretty clear words to me. Maybe it's because English isn't your first language, I don't know. You said it was rambling though. Rambling is nonsense in my definition of the word. What's that supposed to mean? Also Canadian. We don't speak proper English or something? I don't know what. We don't speak like New Yorkers. If you want to hear a funny accent, there's one for you. New Yorker. Not good at impersonations. It is Victorian English, so I mean, I don't know. It's not the easiest thing to understand, I guess. I've memorized the poem, so I understand what's being said quite well. That's the thing with poetry, is you have to actually spend time with it and read it, and listen to it. It's not just like, you know. I've memorized 2 long poems. I've memorized a bunch of like shorter poems, and I've memorized some song lyrics and stuff like that. This job gives me a lot of many opportunities to practice things like that. So why not? Ooh, it's hot. These are poppy seeds, which we actually do get from a pharmaceutical company, oddly enough. So they are growing. These seeds are part of the opiate trade or whatever. I think we get our poppy seeds from GlaxoSmithKline. If I remember correctly. GlaxoSmithKline poppy seeds. They're grown in Australia. called Australian poppy seeds. Yeah, this is Vancouver, dude. Vancouver's had pot dispensaries for like 5 years. Ever since I've moved here, there's been pot dispensaries on every corner. They're everywhere, man. It's not even legal yet. Well, it is legal now. It's been legal in a de facto sense for quite a while. Is it legal to fish here? Oh, bagel fishing is legal. I'm the best bagel fisher the world has ever seen. A pro? Yeah. As professional as it can be, yeah, I guess I would be. There probably are quite a few people that do this out in the world. Like in Montreal, there's probably at least, I don't know, yeah, hundreds of people that have learned this baking style. There should be a baking federation, Bakers Federation of North America or something, I don't know. Yeah, I've been doing it a long time. I've been doing it for about 5 years. No, I'm an employee here. My goal is to eventually own my own shop. I'd like to take this concept and make it vegetarian, and I'd probably call it something else. My favorite bagel is cinnamon. We make cinnamon swirl here, and it's my favorite bagel. My second favorite bagel is sesame. I like sesame. Flippy the bagel. I want somebody to make a video game based on this baking style. It would be such a great video game. I would play it all the time. I play it all the time anyways. But it's one of the greatest games ever invented. Bagel baking. The guy who made Angry Birds, give me a call. We'll make a game together. We'll call it Flippy the Flippy Bagel. Flippy Bagel. Angry Bagels. Here's a short poem by Emily Dickinson. The heart asks pleasure first, and then excuse from pain, and then those little anodynes that deaden suffering, and then to go to sleep, and then if it should be the will of its inquisitor, the liberty to die. Hello, New Zealand. Welcome to the stream. We're located here in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I worked with a girl from Auckland. When I first started working here, she was here for a short while. But yeah, she was from Auckland. I'd love to visit New Zealand, maybe one day soon. Maybe that'll be my next trip. I'll go to New Zealand. I went to Mexico my last vacation was to Mexico. It's probably an expensive airfare, so I gotta start saving up now, I think. I'm gonna take, my next vacation will be in 2019. I'm gonna take it in January probably. Vacation. Here's a Kids in the Hall skit I've memorized. It's called, what is it called? Dr. Seuss Bible. One day God said, this is what I'll do. I'll send down my son, I'll send him down to you to clear up this humpity-bumpity hullabaloo. His name will be Christ and he'll never wear shoes, and his friends will all call him the King of the Jews. He didn't come in a plane, he didn't come in a Jeep, he didn't come in the pouch of a high-jumping Vo-Veep. He rode on the back of a black Saskatoon, the blackiest creature you ever could view. He rode into Jerusalem, home of the grumpy Jews, where false prophets were worshipped, some even in tombs. There was Bury von Murr and Ganges Booze, the one you could worship taking a snooze. Christ spoke from a mound with a pile of the ground. The people gathered around without making a sound. Thus he spake, sin and soft full of sin. How shall we quiet this Jehovah begin? Do unto others as others do unto you. That includes you, Timothy Foo. One Pharisee said to another he knew, what shall we do about this uppity Jew? Wash him in wine and make him all clean, and into Sam Vittle's crucifixion machine. Twirl the whirl and release the gavlees, and in go the nails as fast as you please. And he said as he bled, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, because they walk through this world wearing two crappity shoes. That's a Kids in the Hall sketch I've memorized, called Dr. Seuss Bagel. Oh my God, sticky bagels. See the steam coming off the boards? It's nice. I should do a bagel aerobics class. Reach. And wipe. And wipe. And stir. And stir the pot now. Stir the pot. And wipe. And wipe 1, 2, 3. And wipe 1, 2, 3. Sorry, excuse me. I wasn't supposed to work today. Super tired. Oh my god, I want to sleep. I only have 8 more hours to go. 7 hours, 6 hours. Make it till 12 o'clock today. 12:30. go. First one. I'm gonna throw this one out anyway, so. Trying to do double flip. Bagel's funny shaped. We're gonna blame the bagel on that one. Ugh. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie on mine, and mouth scarce able to afford suppression of the glee that pursed and scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with the staff? What save to waylay with his lies and snare all travelers who might find him posted there? And ask the road, I guessed what skull-like laugh would break, what crutch can write my epitaph or pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside into ominous track which all agree hides in dark towers, yet acquiescingly I did turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end descried, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wandering, what with my search drawn out through years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring my heart beat, finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes the farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freely outside, since all is over, he saith, and the blow fallen no grieving can amend. While some discusseth near other graves be room enough for this, and when a day suits best for carrying the corpse away, with care about banners, scarfs, and staves, and still the man hears all and only craves, he may not shame such tender love and stay. Thus I had for so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so often being writ, so many times among the band of wit, the knights who to dark towers searched addressed their steps, that just to fail as they seemed best, and all doubt was now should I be fit. So quiet as despair I turned from him, that hateful cripple, out of his highway into the path he pointed. All the day had been a dreary one at best, and dim was settling into its close, yet shot one grim red leer to see the plain catch its astray. For mark, no sooner was I fairly found, pledged to the plain after a pace or two, then pausing throw back with a last view, over the safe road 'twas gone, grey plain all round, nothing but plain to horizon's bound. I must go on, naught else remained to do. So on I went, I think I never saw such stark ignoble nature. Nothing throve, for flowers as well expect a cedar grove, but chortle and spurge according to their law, might propagate their kind with none to awe. We think a burr had been a treasure trove. No penry inert to sing from mace, in some strange sort were the land's portion. See, or close your eyes, said nature peevishly, and nothing skills. I can't help my case. 'Tis last judgment's fire must cure this place, calcine its clods and set my prisoners free. If there pushed any ragged thistle stalk above its mate's head was chalk, the bents were jealous else. What made the holes and rents in the dock's harsh shores leave? Bruises to balk all hope of greenness. 'Tis a brute must walk, pashing their life out the brute's intents. As for the grass, it grew as scarce as hair and leprosy. Thin, dry blades pricked the mud, which underneath looked kneaded up with blood. One stiff, blind horse, his every bone astare, stood stupefied however he came there, thrust out past service from the devil's stud. Alive, he might be dead for aught I know, with red gaunted callop neck astrain, and shut eyes beneath the rusty mane. Seldom went such grotesqueness with such woe. I never saw a brute I hated so. He must have been wicked to deserve such pain. I shut my eyes and turned them on my heart, as a man calls for wine before he fights. I asked one draught of earlier, happier sights. Ere fitly I could hope to play the part. Think first, fight afterwards, the soldier's art. One taste of old times sets all the rights. Not it. I fancied Cuthbert's reddening face beneath its garniture of curly gold. Dear fellow, till I almost felt him fold an arm in mine to fix me to that place. An arm in mine to fix me to that place. The way you used, alas, one night's disgrace. Out of my heart's been fire and left it cold. Giles then, the soul of honor, there he stands. Frank as 10 years ago when knighted first. An honest man should dare to city dirt. Good but seeing ships, thought what hangman's hand pinned to his breast of parchment. His own band reads it, poor traitors spit upon and cursed. Better this peasant than a pass like that, back therefore to my darkening path. No sound, no sight as far as the eye can strain. Will the night send a howlet or a bat, I asked, when something on the dismal flat came to arrest my thoughts and change their train. A sudden little river crossed my path, as unexpected as a serpent came. No tides congenial to the gloom. This is a frostbite, might have been a bath for the fiend's glowing hoof, to see the wrath of the slack eddies, his fat with flakes and spoons. So petty yet so spiteful, all along those scrubby alders kneeled over it. Drenched willows flung them headlong in a thick corrupt despair, a suicidal throng. The river which had done them all the wrong, whatever that was, rolled by to turn no wit. Which while I courted good saints, how I feared to set my foot upon a dead man's cheek. Each step or field a spear I thrust to seek, for hollows tangled in his hair or beard. It may have been a water rat I speared, but it sounded like a baby's shriek. Glad was I to reach the other bank. Now for a better country, fame presage. Who are the strugglers? What war did they wage? Whose savage trampled had the bank soiled to a flash? Toads in a poison tank, or wild cats in a red-hot cage? The fight was so sweet in that foul surf. What penned them there with all the flames to choose? No footsteps leading to that horrid muse. None out of it, mad druids set to work their brains no doubt like galley slaves of Turk. Pits for his pastime, Christians against Jews. As far as ever from more than that a furlong on, why there, what bad use was that engine for? That reel, or brake not reel, that harrow fixed reel, men's bodies out like soup. With all the air of Coffin's tool, unearthed left unaware or brought to sharpen its rusty teeth of steel. Then came some stub ground, once a wood, next to marsh it would seem, now mere earth, desperate and done with soul the fool finds birth, makes a thing and mars it till his mood changes, and off he goes within a rude bog clay and marsh, sand and stark black dirt. Now blotches rankling colored gay and grim, now patches where some newness of the soil is broken to moss or substances like boils. Then came a palsied oak, a cleft in him, a distorted mouth that splits its rim, gaping at death and dies while it recoils. As far as ever from the end, not in a distance but the evening knot, point my footsteps further at the thought, great black bird, Apollyon's bosom's friend, sailed past, nor beat his wide wings dragon pen, that brushed my cap perchance the guide I sought. From looking up where I somehow grew, the plain had given place all round to mountains with such names, the grey smear heights and heaps now stolen of view. How thus they surprised me solving you, how to get from there was no clear case. Yet half I seem to recognize some trick of mischief had happened to me, God knows when, in a bad dream perhaps, here ended then progress this way, when in the very nick of giving up one more time came a click, as when the trap ships are in the den. Burningly it came upon me all at once, this was the place. Those two hills crouched to the right, crouched like two bulls locked horn and horn in fight, while to the left the tall Scout Mountain, dunce, dotard, and dozing, and the very nunce, after a lifetime retreating toward the sight. One in the midst lay but the tower itself, the round squat turret, built of brown, blind as a fool's heart, built of brown stone without a counterpart in the whole world. The tempest's mocking elf points to the shipman, thus the unseen shelf he strikes on only when timbers start. Not sea, because of night perhaps, why day came back for that. Behind it left the dying sunset, kindled through a cleft. The hills like two giants in the hunting lay, chin upon hand to see the game at bay. Now stab and end the creature to the heft. Not here, when noise was everywhere, it told, increasing like a bell, names in my ears, of lost adventurers, my peers, how such was strong, and such was bold, and such was fortunate, yet each of old, lost, one moment now of the woe of years. There they stood, ranged along the hillside met, to view the last of me, for one more, a living frame, for one more picture in a sheet of flame. I saw them and knew them all, and yet, dauntless, a slughorn to my lips I set and blew. Child, roll into a dark tower came. We got 3 batches done, and 3 batches in the oven, and 1 in the pot. We say 3 in the crate, 3 in the oven, 1 in the pot. 3 in the crate, 3 in the oven, 3 in the pot. No, 1 in the pot, sorry. If there was 3 in the pot, then we'd be in trouble. We would be in trouble. Steaming boards. So it's almost 6 o'clock here. I'm gonna shut down the stream pretty soon. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna have the next 3 days off, so I won't be streaming for the next few days. I'll be back on the weekend, on Saturday. Come down and say hi if you live in Vancouver, or if you're visiting. I will happily recite poetry to you if you request it. I work at Commercial Drive at Rosemary Rock Salt. My name's Steven. I bake the bagels here, and I will recite poetry if you request. Live. What could be better? Come down and listen to me recite poetry to you. And then eat a bagel. Or eat a bagel first, whatever, I don't know. Do it in whatever order you like. It's a free country. Canada, come to Canada. Because it's a free country. The bagels aren't free though. Everything else is. Bagels are my slaves. They're not free. Bagels don't live in a free country. Bagels are my minions. Okay, thanks for watching. Have an excellent morning. See you next week.